Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reganelite's Viewpoint, episode 136 here, where we look at UK news. We are going to look at some videos as well to look at. I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got like 5 different stories. I don't know if I'll cover everything that I've put on the description tonight, depending on how I feel. Depending on how my voice goes, guys. So, essentially, I've developed a sore throat of some sorts. That's basically what's happened. For those who are wondering why, when I was in the 2 days, why I said I might not go ahead with tonight. I managed to. I've got plenty of lockets to help the throat, and of course, my honey and lemon here, guys. This is my second cup today. Was totally fine this morning, this afternoon, pretty much until around about 2:30, 3 o'clock. It's when it started to kick in. I did manage to push through and get Patreon and Rumble videos done for the week. I just need to put a post up to tell you guys what videos are. There's some really good, some really interesting stuff. For Patreon and Rumble, you guys are definitely will want to check out there as well. We'll see how tonight's show goes. Billy Kershaw, good to see you there. Jow, good to see you there, and Ellie, person impersonating anybody else who's lurking in the chats as well there. So I want to start off with obviously the main news, of course, is. You know, Keir Starmer, it looked like at the start of the day that I think the media's kind of bigging it up a bit too much. Like the talk of Keir Starmer resigning today, I wasn't really buying into it unless the cabinet were going to turn on him, unless a lot of the cabinet were going to turn on him. And I wasn't feeling that. And I said this morning, like, even though there's a lot of people calling for him to go, I generally didn't feel like that this was going to happen. And I think one of the main reasons that the cabinet stuck with him today is not just because of their own positions, but the fear of a reform government coming in early, and they've got time to turn this around. They've got time to do something about that. I really do think that is to play a part in all of this as well. Here. I'm going to be stopping to take sips of that as well, guys, to keep my throat parched. So I want to show you, before I show you that, where is it? No, we don't need that. Can we see the full text? Yes, we can. Okay, so I wanted to show this first. This has been, for some reason, I'll have to do it with no screen for this one, guys. So this got published by West Streeting. So in West Streeting, yeah, I know the camera's off, guys. I have to do the camera for you guys to see it. So West Streeting has published these WhatsApp messages with Peter Mandelson, private messages here. Now, I don't think these are all of them, but there's quite a lot here. And it's certainly quite interesting to say the least here. So I think West Streeting has done this to try and appeal. I think, yeah, I agree with what a lot of activists have been saying over the last 2 hours or so, that his decision to release these text messages, WhatsApp messages to Peter Mandelson and back, is an intention to basically appeal to the members, because there's a lot of Labour MPs who aren't keen on West Streeting being Prime Minister. They're very sceptical of him, and we're all sceptical of him because we know he's an Israeli shield. US and also a lobbyer for the US healthcare providers as well. But he's chosen to expose himself and his relationship with Peter Mandelson. And I actually think that the fact that he's done this is shown, look, I'm willing to show that I've got no skeletons in my closet with Peter Mandelson, and I'll prove it by showing my text messages. He's chosen to do this. So here's some of the comments he says here. So, I am toast at the next election. This was on the 28th of the 3rd, 2025. West Streeting saying, I fear we're in big trouble here. I'm toast at the next election. We just lost our safest seat ward to Redbridge, 51% Muslim Ilford, to a Gaza independent. At this rate, I don't think we will hold the 2 Ilford seats. Australian, there isn't a clear answer to the question, why Labour? He knows exactly why. It's because they're not doing enough. They're not doing enough in response to the situation in Gaza back then, and they weren't going to do, and they ain't doing enough now. Mandelson says the government doesn't have an economic philosophy, which is then followed through in a program of policies. Westreeton says no growth strategy at all. Israel's committing war crimes. Westreeton says here, I'm sure this will come up in the coming days. I just wanted to check in with you on reconciliation of Palestine and the domestic policies of it. Keir's statement today was excellent, but Macron's statement tonight ups the ante. Morally and politically, I think we need to join France. Morally, because Israel's committing war crimes before our eyes. Their government talks the language of ethnic cleansing. I've met with our own medics out there who describe the most chilling, distressing scenes of calculated brutality against women and children. Interesting that he has said this in the text messages. Politically, a Commons vote will be engineered in September on reconciliation, and we will lose it if we're not ahead of it. There are no circumstances in which people like me or Shabina could abstain or vote against. For example, conference will be a sea of Palestinian flags and the moderates will be waving them. We need to be leading the charge on this. The alternative is being dragged there with enormous damage to Keir, the government and the party. I have never been a shrinking violet on Israel. I supported the LFI for over 20 years. Our sister party Hajris and progressives are clear about what's being done in their name and they oppose it. I appreciate these things are always more complicated than they appear. To those, too much of us aren't up close as you are. So I appreciate how much Keir and Dave are leading you up to this personally. But this is what it is. We need to lead, not follow. This is what Street has said with regards to Palestine, Israel. There, it's interesting that he's openly here. This is quite telling as well. That part there. Lawman said, I can see it all, but I'm worried that such a gesture could blow an S2 out of the water if Israel decides to unilaterally recognise justifying further West Bank annexation, which the US would be powerless to stop or reverse. The US, this is bollocks here from Lord Mandelson saying that the US will be powerless to stop and reverse. America can always do something about what's happening in the West Bank here. That's absolutely not true. I think we need to employ practical means to get an SS2, not quickly realise. Washington says Israel is doing it anyway. He says this is a rogue state behaviour. Let them pay the price as pariahs with sanctions applied to the state, not just a few ministers, he says. That's just some of the text messages. There have been some other ones as well. But obviously we'll get some more. I'm sure we'll get a feed tomorrow on them there. But I wanted to share some of those text messages with you guys. I also want to share, obviously, just to highlight the cabinet ministers getting behind him. Angela Rayner obviously saying, Prime Minister has my full support, leading us to the end there. Shabima Mahmood, the PM has my full support. Lucy Powell was very much Lucy Powell, PM has my support. Lisa Andy, the PM, Prime Minister has my full support. Ed Miliband has the full support here. And obviously, I just wanted to share that before, like, pretty much Ed Miliband, Shabina, Lisa Nandy have all put their support by. So the entire cabinet here has backed Keir Starmer, David Lammy, Rachel Reeves, Vivek Cooper, Westreeton through the Sky News interview he had with Beth Rigby, John Hilley, Darren Jones, Peter Carl, Heidi, Alexander, Steve Reid, Nick Thomas Simmons, Richard, Henry Joe Simmons, Liz Kendall, Douglas Alexander. So the whole cabinet's gotten behind him as well there. So just another thing as well. Obviously, the Labour Welsh leader, Labour's Welsh leader, did not comment, has not said anything with regards to Keir Starmer here. So Morgan is not expected to call for Keir Starmer to step down today. It's understood that she wants to assess the impact of Sarwar's decision first, which we're going to get to in a minute there. So she's not being stupid. She's actually waiting to see what's going to happen, which I'm pretty sure she knows what's happening right now. Either way, Labour are toast in Wales. We know that for sure there. Here's some of the some of that conversation that Westreeton had here. Some of the other texts that he had with Peter Mandelson here. Make what you will, guys, of this.
How embarrassed are you by these WhatsApps between you and him? I'm embarrassed to have known Peter Mandelson.
I've got these messages here. There is a lot of genuine intimacy here and friendship. You know, you to Peter, great pitch, lovely photos in the time Peter sends you a kiss. There's well done on the BBC. This is Peter Mandelson to you in June 25. I'm literally reading them as I go along. Well done on the BBC. Very good kiss. Are you planning to visit the US this year? You hope so! ! Kiss. Are you embarrassed by that? I mean, that's quite an intimate friendship, isn't it?
No, with Peter Mandelson, look,
well, it says dozens and dozens.
I'm very happy to,
but there are dozens and dozens of messages,
and people be able to read them.
How embarrassed are you by these WhatsApps between you and him?
I'm embarrassed to have known Peter Mandelson.
I think I'm just going to put this out here, guys. I don't know about you, but even if I'm close to another guy, I never send them an X. I don't know what that is. Like, if the only person I send an X to will be either my partner or my mum. Like, that's just me personally. I don't personally do that. I don't know if people do that with their. I don't know. I don't personally do that. I find that very weird for me. That Peter Mandelson and West Street have done that. But it kind of, the fact that he's actually put this out here, the timing is very, very suspicious as well here. I do find this very, very there. But yeah, these messages obviously says a lot about him there. I just, before I showed this clip here, please pause, thank you. I just wanted to share these two important tweets as well before we get to Anis Sarwar here. This is really important. So Keir Starmer received a standing ovation and 30-second applause as he entered the room to speak to Labour MPs. This was 2 hours ago. And then 32 minutes ago, after Cabinet Minister Steve Rees said any leadership speculation has been put to bed after Keir Starmer's meeting with Labour MPs tonight. So I listened to... I don't have the clip here, guys, because I would have wanted to get it for you guys. But basically, I was listening to LBC's correspondent who was there and basically said that both rebels and those who were with Keir Starmer at the meeting there with Keir Starmer, apparently he knocked out the park in terms of his appeal for people to get behind him. Apparently he didn't even have any notes whatsoever. It was just literally him with his hands and speaking to the members. Literally, that's it. He didn't even have like a speech written or anything. He literally just spoke from the heart. That's apparently it. And that's basic. And a lot of rebels came out very impressed by Keir Starmer there as well. So any talk right now of Keir Starmer stepping down, that's not going to happen. I know some people want that, but that's not going to happen right now, guys. So that's literally not going to happen. But it's also worth reminding there are all the receipts that Keir Starmer's got, because he is a liar. And this is probably one. I don't know if this is the guy that made the video, but my God, this is pretty embarrassing, guys.
We've had a referendum. We shouldn't have another referendum on the same issue. Whatever the outcome, there's got to be a referendum. Remain should be an option, and the Labour Party will campaign for Remain. We have left the EU. There's no case for going back to the EU. I oppose HS2 on cost and on merit. Every Labour leader since then, including me, I took over in 2018, has supported HS2, and we do support it. I'm not going to rank Jeremy Corbyn. He's a colleague, he's a friend, and he's led us through some really difficult times in the Labour Party.
He was never a friend.
No, not in the sense that we were, went to visit each other or anything like that. Trans rights are human rights, and I support the right to self-identification. We don't think that self-identification is the right way forward. I don't think you can simply do away with any assessment. And those assessments are appalling. And I would scrap them, just like Becky would. Scrap the assessments, scrap the sanctions, scrap the universal credit. Freedom of movement will have to end as we leave the EU. We have to make the case for freedom of movement. And we have to make it strongly. Freedom of movement has gone and it's not coming back.
You're going to make this shit up, guys. What a clip. What a clip. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable. The amount of U-turns in that one clip alone of Keir Starmer. Just proof that you just cannot trust this guy. He will shift. He will turn wherever the wind blows. Turns wherever the wind blows, guys. I just want to remind people who is coming in. I'm just a reminder that I'm not feeling 100% well. I do have a sore throat. And in case people are wondering what I'm drinking, it is honey and lemon to help with my sore throat. So I just want people to be aware of that while I'm talking, if I do slow down at all, for everyone, for those who are just coming in now. So, Anis Sarwar, how's he feeling right now tonight, guys? Well, I think the word that I describe of the Scottish Labour leader right now is lonely. I think he's feeling very lonely, guys, because, you know, he was the first person to come out and call for Keir Starmer to go. And literally everyone has got, as we just looked at, everyone has just gotten back behind him. And Sarwar just looks like I mean, let's just call it what it is, a fucking prat in front of everyone. I think he, you know, I really hope he actually gets the boot after the elections in Scotland. I hope he gets the kicking. Not only does Labour crash and burn in Scotland, but I hope Keir Starmer basically sacks him straight after for betraying him, because, like, especially in the situation like right now, like what I'm hearing is that they don't really have much of a chance. I've heard they don't really have much of a chance of getting First Minister spot. It's really SNPs to lose there. And yeah, I watched what Sarwar said, and I was listening to what he said, and a question brought up by one of the journalists was, well, what about your relationship with Peter Mandelson? You said nice things about Peter Mandelson. Wasn't you considered your friend? Didn't directly answer the question. I'm like, oh, you forgot about that. Did you forget about that, Sarwar? Dear, oh dear, guys. He seems like he forgot about that, guys. He seems like he forgot about that. So in dramatic press conference, Sarwar said the situation in Downing Street was not good enough and that too many mistakes have been made at the top of government. However, just as Sarwar began to speak, a flurry of senior Labour ministers took to social media to express their support for the Prime Minister, making the Scottish Labour leader look like a fucking prat. Sir Keir continued fighting to shore up his position after his judgment was questioned over the appointment of Peter Mandelson as UK ambassador to the US, despite his links to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Today, the Prime Minister was addressed a packed meeting of Parliamentary Labour Party where he was greeted by applause from his MPs. Speaking immediately after the hearing, former Minister Justin Madders said he wanted to hear more of what we heard tonight from the PM. I don't think there was any sense in that room that night that people want a change in Prime Minister, he said. At the same time, Health Secretary Rasheen, who had been touted as a possible leader to rival Sir Keir, took the unusual step of publishing some of his messages between him and Lord Mandelson, a move he said was aimed at dispelling a weekender smear and innuendo that I have something to hide. Contrary to what has been widely reported, I was not a close friend of Peter Mandelson, but I'm not going to wash my hands of my actual association with him, either Streeting wrote in The Guardian. It does show that he was very close to Peter Mandelson. The messages prove that he had a close relationship with him. To all those who have come in, if I haven't said hello, apologies. I'm just trying to take care of my voice there. But I hope you guys are all doing well. The messages including Streeting criticising the government for having no economic growth strategy. I'm going to be burping a lot because I am drinking honey and lemon again. Just reminding you guys. There has been months of speculation about Sir Keir's leadership, but the row over Lord Mandelson's appointment has intensified discussions of a change at the top. Around half a dozen Labour backbench MPs have called for the Prime Minister's resignation, and in the past 2 days, 2 senior advisors have left Number 10. The communications... who's the other guy? The communications guy. Apparently, he was too close to Peter Mandelson, which is the main reason for his departure, is what Labour sources had said, according to Politics UK on Twitter. And they're very reliable with their sources. Announced the decision to resign, Chief of Staff Morgan McSweeney said he took full responsibility for advising the Prime Minister to appoint Lord Mandelson. Last week, Sarwar criticised the decision to pick Lord Mandelson, and on Monday, he said it was time for the Prime Minister to go. He criticised the decision, last week. Did he say anything when he was picked? Did he say anything about the decision when he was picked, guys? Can anyone tell me what Sarwar's comments were when Mandelson was appointed US ambassador? Can anyone remind me? Did he say that it was a fantastic appointment and a great friend of mine. Did he say something along those lines there? He said his announcement was not easy and not without pain, adding, "Oh my God, that honey and lemon really burnt my stomach. Oh my God. Sorry about that." He said his announcement was not easy and not without pain, adding that Sakir was a decent man, but his first loyalty was to Scotland. So much so that he's still with the Scottish Labour Party. With elections taking place in Scotland in 3 months' time, Sarwar said he needed to decide what I'm willing to accept and what I'm willing to tolerate. Speaking about the government, he said they promised that we were going to be different, but too much has happened. Have there been good things, of course? Have there been many of them? But no one knows them and no one can hear them because they're being drowned out. That's why it cannot continue. No, there's a couple of reasons why the good things that people aren't hearing them. So first of all, you have a media that's very much biased towards the right wing. Very much towards reform, very much towards the Conservatives, and very much, the media loves drama. They love prime ministers going up, and they love elections. They like all that kind of stuff. So, and good politics, good policies that are going to make lives better are not something that they want to talk about because in their minds it's boring. They want drama. Drama is very good publicity for the media, and that's something they desperately want. When they have to talk about it, they'll talk about it, but they would rather not talk about it. Most of the media there. So have there been some good things? Yes, but yeah, obviously the taking this long to remove the 2-child benefit cap, which still hasn't been done. Also, the renters' rights bill still it still hasn't been we're still waiting for that to get done. How long before that's going to be put through as well? We're still waiting for it to actually happen, and that still hasn't come to fruition. It's also worth reminding people that this is the same government that wanted to take away, make it harder, for people on disabilities to claim entitlements and make it more difficult for people. I think that's a thing that people make as well there. Asked if who we wanted to see replace Sakir, Sarwar said he was not supporting or backing any alternative for Canada. And Street told Sky News Keir Starmer doesn't need to resign. It's not been the best week for the government. Give Keir a chance. Scottish Secretary Douglas Alexander says Anna has reached his own decision. I respect that. The Prime Minister has recognised not just the lessons has to be learned, but also how we do government. He's right about that and has my support, he added. So it sounds like Douglas Alexander could be... Douglas Alexander is talking a bit more common sense there, shall we say, than Annie Sarwar there. Former Deputy Prime Minister Andrew Rayner backs us obviously there. Tim Allen, that's it, the fourth communications chief. Yeah, apparently he had close connections, like I said there. Let's see, just scroll a bit further down to see any other bits here. Kemi Baganotte says the rest of the nation yesterday another sign that Keir Starmer's lost control of his government. Speaking to broadcasters, he said the Prime Minister is in office but not in power and is completely at the mercy of Labour MPs. I think that's a fair comment. That's a fair comment from Kemi Baganotte there. Daisy Cooper said the British public are crying out for a Prime Minister and a government that will focus on the cost of living, fixing the NHS and social care. We don't want to see a Prime Minister more preoccupied with his own survival while the country pays the price. Reform Russian leader Nigel Farage said he thought the Prime Minister would have to resign before very long. Annie Sarwar is a very big marker. How can Labour fight the Scottish elections if Starmer stays as Prime Minister? Well, they're going to get annihilated one way or another anyway, so... is there any other stuff really to add here? I mean, on this, no. I think, things, it will calm down a little bit. I think, we're going to see a bit more calm. Things will start to calm down a little bit. Yeah, I don't think, the talk of, like I said at the start, the talk of Keir Starmer going is not going to happen right now. But the right wing will try to use as much ammunition as they possible to get one. But like I said here, guys, I've said this before, and I said this on the Good Morning Show for those who weren't there, right? If Keir Starmer goes, there will be a general election. There will be a snap general election because Labour will be nothing more than a bunch of hypocrites if they appoint a new Labour leader and a new Prime Minister, and the public have no say on that leader because then they're completely changing what the mission was, what people voted for. Yes, I agree with each and every one of you that The majority did not vote for Labour because we wanted Labour. We voted Labour because we wanted the Conservatives gone. Yes, we all agree with that. Not everyone voted for Labour, obviously, but the majority voted for Labour because they wanted the Conservatives out. That is true. However, we all know that if Labour does end up appointing a new Prime Minister, there's a very, very high chance that a general election, a snap election, will be called. Because I've said this on the Good Morning Show, and I'll say it now. Labour will be hypocrites if they do not call a snap election if they replace Keir Starmer. They will be hypocrites because they kept calling for it time and time again when the Conservatives were in power. So I really want to make that very, very clear on that regard there. Stephen Banker says, I still don't trust Corbyn. He objected to independence on many a platform. I think that it's your party word salad. Yeah, I'm not keen on Jeremy Corbyn's party. And again, they're not running in the Galton by-election because they're still not ready yet. I think we still need to see, like, we don't even know who their leader is yet. Because they're going to have a figurehead, and it's not going to be Corbyn, it's not going to be Sultana as well. So I think it's a case of let's wait and see on them, guys. Your party are the first UK unionist created party to vote in support of independence. Sea of change is coming. They actually supported independence. Is that something they voted on? I was not aware of that, Kevin. Good to see you there. I hope you're doing well. I've read The Pursuit of Vikings, but I'm all right in my head all day, says Zhao. Guys, make sure you check out Zhao's YouTube channel as well. It was voted by members 67%. 67% voted. Interesting. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Kevin. That's really a lot of food for thought about your party. Very interesting indeed. Right. Let's switch gears, guys, because there's another story that relating to everything that's happening came from an exclusive from The Guardian, guys. Oops, a moment for Angela Rayner here. So, Rayner for Leader site briefly went live in January, guys. The exclusive reveals that Angela for leader.co.uk domain also registered, but the team dismisses unfinished site as fake. Yeah, guys. So this was went live in January. So The Guardian had this story. They've had this story and they've waited till now to drop it, guys. Interesting timing that they decided to drop this story now, because I do not think that they've been holding on to this. That they've it just happens to drop on one of the most explosive days of the Labour government, and it just happened to drop it here. And while this was going on, obviously, Angela Rayner, by the way, has publicly tweeted, just to remind people, she has backed the Prime Minister. Yes, they voted in their conference. Thank you for that, Kevin. Appreciate it. Portugal is lucky because the PM is competent and ruthless. You should check out, there's a story from, I think it's from Al Jazeera or Middle Eastern Eye, where Portugal and Spain are something to do with, I can't explain the story with me, but keep an eye out for Rumble and Patreon videos this week, Jow, is what I will say, because there's a story related to them unofficially helping Israel with their illegal settlement work, unofficially there. Anyways, I'm going off topic here. Let me read this story, guys, so just to understand. So, an unfinished website claiming to launch Angela Rayner's Labour leadership campaign was published temporarily in January, prompting further speculation that the former Deputy Prime Minister could be gearing up for a contest to replace Keir Starmer. The Guardian was alerted to the website, which appeared to be under construction, a source by the IT industry, before the US Department of Justice's latest release of documents on Jeffrey Epstein threw the UK government into disarray. It was published seemingly by accident on a staging site before being removed from the internet. The domain name angelaforleader.co.uk was registered within minutes of the apparent publishing error at 9:48 a.m. on the 27th of January, with the same company, WebFusion, as her official parliamentary site. Rayner has denied any links to the website, with her team dismissing it as fake, and that neither have been commissioned by her excuse me, nor with her knowledge, whilst only one ally described it as a false flag operation. And the news comes to spear Khan was under severe pressure, yada, yada, yada. And here's another picture of it here, Rayner here. Sources have told The Guardian that Rayner had been planning for a potential leadership campaign for months, including conducting private polling, raising funds, and discussing strategy. However, allies insist she has no intention of moving against Starmer. And the other thing is she still has the tax issue that she needs to clear up as well here. So, one ally suggests the site might have been created with the intention of leaking it online in an effort to damage her chances of a future leadership bid. That's also a possibility too. This is a crass false flag operation, obviously designed to undermine Angela. These sort of by the playbook's dirty tricks would be laughable if it wasn't so serious. Do you know what? It would not surprise me whatsoever if the people behind this were linked to the Daily Mail, because we know how much the Daily Mail vilifies and hates everything about Angela Rayner in every way, shape, or form, because they hounded her consistently as deputy leader. Okay, regardless of how you feel about her as a person or her politics and whatnot, the Daily Mail could not stop hounding her. They couldn't stand her. So it would not surprise me one bit if allegedly the Daily Mail was behind this. But there was no indication that the site had been deliberately shared or been leaked to journalists or political figures. The Guardian source appears to have chanced upon the page during a brief window of availability, and it has not emerged via other routes in almost 2 weeks. The website appears to come at a moment of opportunity and risk for Rayner, whose ambitions must be balanced against the damage of appearing to undermine the Prime Minister in a moment of vulnerability. On Friday, the Daily Mail, speaking of, suggestions that Rayner had told friends that she will be ready to run should Starmer be forced to resign. Yeah, look, I'm just going to say this now. I would not take anything from the Daily Mail, okay? Spokesperson for Ashton underlined MP rejected that claim. There have even been claims that her decision to get a haircut was taken with leadership ambitions in mind. Again, this is the Daily Mail, who are hell-bent on destroying any kind of political ambition for Angela Rayner. They don't want a woman in charge, okay? They really don't. They are very sexist, guys. Let's be clear about that. They have viewed their intentions in the row over the release of documents relating to Mandelson. Yep, and this is all. Rayner's stock has risen among MPs in the last few months as she has spoken out to nudge the government on policy in areas she views as legacy, such as employment rights and lease reform, which are also popular with Labour membership. The draft website features pictures of senior Labour politicians along with the words Angela Rayner is running for leader to fight for working class Britain. It has an endorsement page as well as a form for party members to join her campaign and has listed the local constituency party. It opens with the words "Meet Angela" set against a red background with the subheading "From care worker to Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner's story of working class Britain." It was not clear for how long the site was live. The menu across the top of the page had links including an offer to party members to get involved and then a yellow button for supporters to click to join the campaign. So they got, as the reader scrolled down the screen, it featured a picture of Rayner speaking at the podium alongside the headline, "Why is she running?" with placeholder content about Angela's vision for the Labour Party and why she believes she is the right person to lead, as well as her commitment to working people and transform Britain. So, yeah, and then there's another picture there as well. And yeah, the HMRC investigation about her tax affairs, which is still, by the way, she's still not clear of that as well. So, yeah, this part here. So she's still not clear of the HMRC investigation over her tax affairs, which she needs to clear up before she can run, because that is something that the Daily Mail will be desperately screaming and shouting, saying, but she hasn't sorted out her tax affairs. She hasn't sorted out her tax affairs. Left, right, and centre. They'll be kicking and screaming that till the cows come home, guys. Till the cows come home. Before we go to our funny video, I wanted to share. This. This clip came in from Reform Russian leader Nigel Farage here, and yeah, this kind of really grinded my gears here. Just want to play it for you guys, and then I'll get your reactions in a moment.
But it is an attitudinal change that Britain needs. An attitudinal change to hard work rather than work-life balance. An attitudinal change to the idea of working from home. People aren't more productive working at home. It's a load of nonsense. They're more productive being with other fellow human beings.
That's right. Nigel Farage thinks people working from home are unproductive, guys. That's right. So anybody who works from home, regardless of who they are, where they're from, they are unproductive, guys. Apparently, I'm unproductive, guys. Despite the fact I've recorded, already done one live stream and recorded 18 videos today, and I'm on my second live stream today. Apparently, guys, I'm unproductive. And by the way, I've still got a sore throat. But apparently, I'm unproductive, guys. I'll let you guys decide. Do you think working from home makes you unproductive? No. This is just insane. And there's a lot of good reasons why some people are better working from home than they are working in the office. I generally think that there is a balance there where, I've said this before and I've said this again. I think there are benefits to working in an office with other people, but I also think there are perks and benefits for people working at home. Excuse me. I did say I'd be burping a few times. One of the obvious perks of working from home is, of course, you don't have to pay for travel. In your luxury of your own home. The downside of that, of course, is that if you're home alone, if you don't have any animals, don't have any pets, or don't have anybody there, you're basically alone, and the only form of communication is through your screen or phone or whatever video call and whatnot. Whereas obviously in an office and whatnot, you actually got a group of people with other people you can talk to, and you don't have to talk through a computer screen there. So there are positives and negatives to working from home and working in the office. But to make out that people working from home are not productive is absolutely nonsense. And there's also lots of studies out there that show that it actually works for some people as well. So yeah, it's just don't take anything that this blumbering, bustering buffoon is saying about when it comes to people working. I really can't stress that enough there. Let me have a look and see what you guys are saying in the chat before we go to a funny video. Farage is an idiot. I know dozens of people working from home that have worked more than a day than Farage in his entire life, says Jal. AI Farage is all I can say, says Stephen Banker. Less pollution, Vicky. Yeah, he is a lot of pollution, that is for sure. Good to see you there, Vicky. Hope you're doing well. Mandy, good to see you there. Rich coming from the Spectre of Clacton, who spends more time in the US than his Clacton surgery. Bingo! Well said, Mandy, well said. Farage is a pure rocket. That's a pure rocket? What do you mean by pure rocket? I don't think I would want to put him on a rocket. You know, I always had I think I've told you guys before about how I wanted to fire West Streeting out of a cannon. Maybe it should be Nigel Farage who we should fire out of a cannon. Allegedly. Portugal has always had programs and interchange in science, farming, and technology with Israel, Reganelite. Just check the latest report on Portugal and Israel. Portugal is participating in attempts to allow humanitarian aid. No, that's a difference. It's a separate story. It's to do with the story is related to illegal settlements. But it's not directly Portugal. But the problem is its ports are being used to help Israel, basically. Portugal and Spain. I can't remember if it's on Al Jazeera or Middle East Eye. It's one of those two websites, Jal, if you want to have a look there. The media were worse with Nicola Sturgeon. The witch hunt was obvious. Absolutely. Like, they went well over the top for Nicola Sturgeon. It's absolutely insane. The Guardian, you're giving the Tory graph a run for its money. Yeah, they was with that story there. Just felt like the timing was a bit there. Inhumane Society says, I'm emotionally exhausted and embarrassed to be Jewish. Inhumane, first of all, welcome to the channel. And you know, it's tough right now for a lot of Jewish people out there who have to deal with this anti-Semitism. And I know this, and I'm sure you do, and everyone in the chat knows. Not everyone is like the government in Israel. So I can understand. Well, no, I cannot understand what you are going through there. But I hope your day gets better. If I'm honest, there. I appreciate you popping in, guys. Let's just take a little break because I need to rest my voice for a little bit here. So, as you guys know, so I hope you guys enjoyed this funny video here from the Exploding Heads. Hear from them about Peter Mandelson. It's called "I'm Shocked." Peter Mandelson seemed like such a decent bloke. Yeah, says Colin from Portsmouth.
Colin from Portsmouth is on the line. Hello, Colin.
I am shocked by these revelations, Anthony. Shocked. I didn't expect Andrew to be dodgy because he's a royal.
Absolutely not. Who'd have thought it, Colin?
And now Mandelson, he seemed like such a stand-up, decent bloke. The one Labour figure I liked because he was basically a Tory. Typical bloody Labour, this is.
Colin, you said the files were a hoax to attack the right a few months
Well,
ago.
that's before I realised there were bad people on the left. Now I want to hear more.
Well, they're asking Mandelson if he'll give up his peerage. I mean, what do you think about that?
When has a huge national scandal stopped people from sitting in the House of Lords?
And Andrew has been forced out of his big house and put in a slightly smaller house, Colin.
Which is anything but a palace, I might add. It was the Queen's holiday destination. Basically a static caravan.
So both of them are given handouts despite being unemployed.
Benefit scroungers, the pair of them. It just goes to show, Anthony, any one of us is 2 missed paychecks from having to live in Sandringham.
Yeah.
That's a sobering thought. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
If I find out Donald did something wrong, my mind will be truly blown.
Colin from...
Oh, don't let him see the True Social post of Donald Trump, because that would be really, really bad. Oh, dear, guys. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one from Exploding Heads. Links is in the description. Do subscribe to the Exploding Heads YouTube channel. Do wonderful stuff there. They do indeed. Just a quick reminder before we go to the next story, guys. If you want to support me in any way, best way to do so is hitting that like button, sharing across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, do check out Rumble and Patreon videos. They are free to watch. They'll be dropping every day, Monday to Friday at 12 o'clock. They'll be free to watch. You don't need to pay in to watch those videos that I've produced today for the week. And also, guys, if you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work I do, you can consider joining the YouTube membership for as little as 99p. Gives you access to custom emojis and members community posts. And also, as well, you also get early access to additional content as well. So a lot of short videos that I normally put up, members get early access to that as well. We also have a Super Chat goal today. So if anyone wants to contribute towards the Super Chat goal, be greatly appreciated as well. So Sadiq Khan did an interview, and today the mayor for London, Labour mayor for London, and he's someone who's been around for a long, long time, but he has a very ambitious goal, an ultimate goal, shall we say, and one that I think we all would love to see come true. Sadiq Khan says his ultimate goal is to reverse Brexit. The Mayor of London urges the Prime Minister to show more ambition in rebuilding links with the European Union. This is quite powerful. I like that he's literally come out and basically said, look, we need to reverse Brexit. I love that he said this. I love that he's come out. He's going to show no fear in this. I mean, make no mistake about it. It's not just for the sake of London. It's for the sake of the whole of the UK that we need to undo Brexit. However, I've said this before and I've said this again, and I want to remind people of this because it's really important context with regards to Brexit and how realistic we are about potentially rejoining the European Union. Okay. First and foremost, it doesn't matter that if there's a 60-40% population in favour of rejoining the European Union. It really doesn't matter for that. And the reason why I say that, guys, is because we have two right-wing political parties who are hell-bent on keeping us outside the European Union, outside the single market and customs union. And it doesn't matter how much progress that a Labour government does, or a Green government does, or a Lib Dem government does, if we have political parties that are prepared to undo the work that other parties are going to do when it comes to building those relationships with the European Union, as well as bringing us taking us back out of Brexit and putting us back into the European Union. All of that will get thrown in the trash by these right-wing political parties. We need the vast majority of of not just left-wing politicians and left-wing political parties, but we need the population to be. It has to be at least 80 to 20% of the entire UK population to support it, and that's going to take time because we need more. Respectfully, we need more youngsters, obviously, to speak up, and obviously, as time moves on, and more people who voted for Brexit, not knowing that it was going to do damage, that's still going to be. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought because of the super chat there. It's just not going to happen right now. Realistically, it's not going to happen within the next 5 years. It's not going to happen within the next 10 years. It's not going to happen for a good while. Is the realistic thing. I have to be honest here. As much as I want it to be reversed, I know that this is not going to happen anytime soon. We have to have a huge support from the whole of the UK to rejoin, and also force the political parties and politicians to back it as well in such a situation where they cannot say no to rejoining. Basically, that's how big we need to make it happen there. Steve McMahon, good morning to you from New Zealand. I hope you are doing well. It's Tuesday morning for you, isn't it? I hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for the 20 New Zealand dollars. I hope you are having hope you have a good day, whatever your plans are. Thank you so much for that very generous super chat. It's good to see you there. And everyone's just saying good morning. Yeah, Hi, Kiwi Duck. Yes, the Kiwi Duck. Yes, Kiwi Duck indeed. Right, so let's read a bit more into this, you guys. So, Sir Sadiq Khan has stepped up his calls to reverse Brexit, describing it as his ultimate goal for the UK to join the European Union. So in an interview with The Observer, the Labour mayor said he wanted Keir Starmer to show more ambition on rebuilding links with the EU 6 years after the UK withdrew from the bloc. And he said his aim of rejoining the EU will be achieved in his lifetime. I'd like to think so. His comments come as Sir Keir attempts to ramp up his reset of EU relations, while insisting that the government's clear red lines in relation to the single market and customs union remain in place. Hello? My screen has frozen. 1 second, guys. What's going on? Sorry, 1 second, guys. This The Independent is playing up here. Oh, that's not good. Now I've got a circle of doom. Let me just check check we're still live. Just in case, because everything's gotten very stuttery. Stream health. Yeah, we're still live here. That's not good. It's not refreshing. Great. Thanks, Independent. Really looking forward to reading that. Apparently, they don't want me to read it, guys. Apparently. Yeah, it's not responding to the page. Well, that sucks. Well, I'll have to leave that story, guys, I'm afraid. It would have been nice to have read a bit more into it, but unfortunately I can't read into it, guys, so I apologise. Link for it is in the description if you guys want to check it out yourself. But look, I'll just have speak off the cuff about how I feel about it. Like I said, Sadiq Khan has done a lot of good things for London. I think he's been a very good mayor. Has he been a perfect mayor? No. Does he have problems? Yes. But he's very much popular with the majority of people in the capital. A lot of people who have been put as opponents for him have been weak and spineless. Many on the Conservative side, they just put up really useless people who don't know a clue about being a mayor. The candidate who's being put forward by Reform, I'm very much hoping that does not win the role, because if we get a Reform mayor in London, the capital is going to face disaster, because if they can't even run a bloody council, how the hell are they going to run a bloody capital city like London? So that's really, really scary indeed. In terms of, like I said, for Brexit, it's going to take some time. And I hope that we do see some progress with our relationship with the EU continue to grow. And that's one thing Keir Starmer does deserve credit for, is rebuilding the relationship with the European Union and European allies. He definitely has done a lot of that since coming into. Him and his government have done a very good job of that when it comes to coming into government. So that is something I can give him credit for there. But whether or not that will stay, obviously, when we have a Reform Russian government or a Conservative-led government or a coalition of Conservatives and Reform, will remain to be seen on that there. It can't seem to be competent. That's because he is very competent. I hear all the time about people saying that, saying negative things about Khan, and yet in terms of his policies, a lot of them have been really, really good. But the thing is that he's been mayor for such a long time. For 3 times he's been elected now, and I don't know how many times he wants to keep running. Like part of me is like as much as I do want somebody new after a while, but the problem is that unless he chooses to step down, whoever they bring in, and whoever's the next Labour candidate they bring forward, has to be someone that's really, really good. Like, if they just get anyone off the straight, like, it's just going to be, you're just asking for a Reform or a Conservative to take that spot. I don't think the Greens I don't think a Green candidate is enough yet. I think it's too early for a Green candidate to become mayor of London. But yeah, the next election is really going to be between Labour, Reform, and possibly the Conservative. I'm not sure about a Greens winning the London mayoral race personally, guys. Good evening, Anna and Blah. Hope you guys are both doing well. There. So next story, guys, I've got a very interesting one for you guys. I still haven't finished this honey and lemon. It's getting cold now, guys. For those who are just wondering, just to remind people, I've had a bit of a sore throat. That's even after recording 18 videos and on my second live stream today. But apparently, according to Nigel Farage, because I do this work from home, I'm unproductive, guys. I'm unproductive. So, Russia let my 74-year-old mum take the blame for the botched election leaflet. A Reform campaign letter from 74-year-old Patricia Clegg does appear genuine, but it has left her family upset. So, for those who don't know the story, you guys might have remembered, some of you guys might have seen this letter here. So, in the Galton and Denton by-election, guys, this leaflet started to appear in the area. So let me read it to you guys. So it says, this was posted on Thursday, the 5th of September 2026 in some places. It says, "Dear neighbour, forgive me for writing to you, but with the Galton and Denton by-election on Thursday, 26th February, I feel I have no choice. My name is Patricia. I'm a local pensioner, 74 years old, worked hard and paid my taxes, brought up by my family who always believed that if you did the right thing, the country would look after you. Lately, that belief has been shaken. Every month, I worry about my energy bills. Prices in shops keeps rising. My pension does not stretch far enough. I previously voted Labour because Keir Starmer told us things would change for the better. They haven't. The truth is that Britain no longer feels like the country I grew up in. Simple things are like doctor's appointments or the buses don't work. The system feels broken and no one's in charge seems to fix it. Keir Starmer's government doesn't care about Galton and Denton. Their tax rises have cost pensioners like me an extra £160 that we cannot afford. I remember how our last Labour MP, a government minister, wished that a local pensioner who asked about her bin collection would drop dead. In the Galton Denton by-election, I understand why some neighbours who have had enough of Keir Starmer are thinking voting Green, but I do not believe the Greens have the answers to our problems. We have extreme politics like legalising drugs and letting men use women's changing rooms. What good would that do to people like us? You can already tell just how fake here this is, because this is not a constituent would never write a letter like this. For me, this by-election comes down to a simple choice: more broken promises from Sir Keir Starmer or real change. That's why I'll be voting for Reform UK's candidate, Matthew Goodwin, who grew up in Manchester, St Albans, not Manchester. Our area deserves someone who will stand up for local people. I do not want Keir Starmer to be our Prime Minister anymore. Voting for Reform is the best way to kick him out. After a lifetime voting loyalty, I feel I have no choice but to vote for Reform for Reform UK on Thursday, 26th February. Please think about doing the same. Yours sincerely, a concerned neighbour. So I want to say big well done to Curtis Davis and the people at Turn Left Media who got onto this and tracked down the people who printed this leaflet, because it verified that this leaflet was indeed printed by Reform Russia. This is definitely 100% printed by Reform Russia, that is for sure. And obviously the Electoral Commission is looking into it. However, I just want to, before I get into the story, I need to get this off my chest. I am sick and tired of the Electoral Commission imposing fines when political parties, I don't care who they are, whether it's Reform, Greens, Tories, Labour, I don't care. I'm sick and tired of fines being issued to political parties for breaking and bending the rules in order to get an advantage. No. What they should do is that if the Electoral Commission finds that they have broken the rules, they should be doing one or two things. Either A, they get expulsion from that constituent, or B, they have an automatic by-election. I think that if an automatic by-election, if that political party ends up winning the seat because they broke the Electoral Commission rules, one or the two, they should be forced to have an automatic by-election. Now, you might think that that's not fair in terms of taxpayer money. That's why I think, the money should be coming straight out of the political party's pocket if they do it. But I don't want fines anymore. Fines are not good enough. Yeah, if you tell political parties that if they try to bend the rules, break the rules and whatnot, that you will either face expulsion or an automatic by-election, they're not going to break the rules because they're not want to be prepared, to fight for it once again. They're not willing to they will not want to put the money or the time into it. If you change the rules around Electoral Commission on just oh, here's a fine here and there, like they're just going to pay that off. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything. We need to change the rules when it comes to parties and change the rules when it comes to parties and how they conduct themselves. And the Electoral Commission it's just not strong enough here. This is honey and lemon, by the way. I do have lockets, I just haven't put any in my mouth yet. So a pensioner quoted in a controversial by-election letter for Reform Russia never gave her sign-off and is now being hounded online, her furious son has claimed. Yes, people. So the lady who never even signed off the letter, whose name was used, is being harassed online because of this letter. The letter, using a handwritten style font and address from a concerned neighbour named Patricia Close, A74, landed through the doors of those living in Galton and Denton constituency last week. But the leaflet did not have an imprint that is legally required to make clear the material had been funded and distributed by a political party, amounting to a potential breach of electoral law, which has since been reported to Greater Manchester Police. Reform UK has insisted that Mrs. Clegg is a real party member from the area who agreed to put a name on the letter, and that the genuine error not to include any mention of the party was made by its printing company. In the campaign leaflet, Mrs. Craig urged voters to support Nigel Farage. Yep. However, Andrew has shared his anger about the saga and demanded answers from Farage's party. The Reform Russian supporter is a dedicated British Army veteran who has been regularly posting his support for the party in recent months, but now says it has lost his support. So, they've admitted the letter is from them. And they said that it's a genuine error not to include any mention of the party in its printing error. This is bollocks. This is 100% bullshit by them. 100% bullshit, guys. In a series of messages left on Goodwin's page over the weekend, Mr. Clegg claimed that his mother is now being hounded because of the controversy over the letter. While confirming she did write it, she said it was never signed off. Her name plastered all over Reform's fault. Mr. Clegg said, "Printers, no, it's Reform that left my mum to the dogs. I was a supporter and a fan that stood up for the party. I agree that I was right. Now, no more." He added that his mother had been hounded to the point that she had deleted all her social media accounts and now can't take a call. That's horrible. 24 years old and shit on, Mr. Clegg said. When approached by the iPaper on Monday, she said his primary focus was on the well-being of his mother. He didn't want to make any further comment. Reform UK confirmed he had spoken to both Mrs. Clegg and her family about the leaflet error. Did they apologise? Do you think they apologised, guys? What do you think? Do you think they apologised? The Electoral Commission said failing to include an imprint in candidate election registration was an offence, but it was a matter for the police. All printing material prompted a candidate in an election is required to include an imprint identifying the promoter and printing of the material, so voters know who is responsible for it, a spokesperson said. Greater Manchester Police said he had received complaints about the leaflet and it would be investigating. A spokesperson from Reform Russia said, "We have been in direct contact with Ms. Patricia Clegg and her family. We have apologised for distress caused by the genuine error on the part of the third-party contractor, which was entirely outside our control." This is bollocks. They deliberately and intentionally did not want their name on it. They wanted to imply that they're to try and sway people to vote Reform. This is just underhand tactics by them. We are pleased to say that Patricia is still planning on voting for Matt Gordon on February 26th to boot Keir Starmer out of Downing Street. A spokesperson previously said that the campaign had ordered the material with full and correct legal imprint, fully comply with electoral law, but an error occurred during the printing process. This is not true. Just not buying this story. Hardly Prince's Solution in Middlesex, which printed letter said he had taken full responsibility for the error. I guess they were given a lot of money saying, take the blame. Here, we'll give you a bunch of... This is basically, Reform basically said to them, here's some money, take the blame for us, yeah, and we'll pretend, just take the responsibility for it, and we'll pretend we'll pretend it's not our fault and it was your fault. Just take the blame on our behalf. Allegedly. I'm just going to put that little bit in there. God, I hope Matt Goodwin does not win that seat. I really hope he doesn't. Hannah is still behind on the polls, though. But she's got to be ruthless with her campaign. She's got to push really hard in that campaign. I know the Greens are pushing tirelessly. I really hope the Greens do take that seat. But right now the polls are not in her favour. She's still very much behind the Reform candidate. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for her. But I really hope Hannah pulls it off. There's no point getting behind Labour in that seat anymore. It really is no point. What are you guys saying? I just have to live my life and leave other people alone. Besides that, it must be exhausting to hate everything. I've had worse. My kitty keeps entering and leaving the room, opening up the door, meows, runs away, and 10 minutes later she's back at it. Oh my god, that must be so annoying, Joe. Sometimes I have to lock Jasper out downstairs in order for me to record stuff because he just because he wants to meow for no bloody reason. Why is everyone saying Jow in the comments there? What's all that about? Jow also says, I've never found a trans or gay person that annoys me. Some wanted to give me a makeover, and it turns out my former of my soul Peniel stands into looks in a chill or way, but never felt threatened there. A party should have to pay for that by-election. There would be at least more fitting fine. If they get fines, they just raise and bet for more money. Yeah. Having 11 strepsils. Yeah, I've had strepsils in the past. It's only just come on to me for now, right now. Come on to me a couple of about 3 o'clock or so. Yeah, when it came on. There. Jim, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Right, guys. So we've got one more story, and then we'll go to the funny video here, guys. My voices seem to have managed here, guys. By the way, if anyone wants to help contribute to tonight's Super Chat goal, you can do as well down in the comments. Your comment will be read out if you do drop a Super Chat as well. Appreciate so many people turning out tonight. So, Ofcom is under fire after refusing to investigate a misleading GB News Trump interview. US President was not challenged over false claims climate change is a hoax, and parts of London have Sharia law. Another sign of our system, guys, weak and pathetic again. This is just infuriating. Like I don't know why Ofcom doesn't do this. Like, it's again another example of GB News not doing its job, and once again you have Ofcom not doing its job, not holding these broadcasters to account, treating GB News differently to the Sky News and BBC and all the other broadcasters out there, always giving them an easy running. And it's once again, the government needs to do something about this because, again, it's just weakness from them. And yeah, like, people actually, viewers do watch GB News, and they will have seen these comments by the president, and they will not be good in any way, shape, or form. We just don't want them. Ofcom are useless. Absolutely, Steve Manker. They are absolutely bloody useless here. Like, come on. Like, even Reform voters know that there is no such thing in London as Sharia law. There is, people like to joke of Shakira law, but yeah, it's just, and climate change is not a hoax. It's absolutely real. We're going to, like, it's just absolutely insane. Like, even if GB News, what they should have done, right, is put a scroll bar down saying that climate change is real, or London does not have Sharia law, or something like that, to have at least just to imply to people so that they're aware then it's not real. Thank you, Blubber, for £2 super chat. Keep up the good work. Thank you, and thank you for your support. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for that super chat. It's very kind of you. Viper Scott, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Hi all in chat for Democratic Penguins Republic. Ollie and been listening in. Thank you so much, Viper Scott. Appreciate it. I want Shakira law. The hips don't lie, says Jow. Yeah, apparently they don't. Apparently the code. Apparently that law is applied in Brazil, if my understanding, among other places. So the UK's media regulator Ofcom has been accused of abandoning any precedents of guarding against misleading or biased television coverage after it refused to investigate a series of complaints about a GB News interview with Donald Trump. During an interview with the Right Wing Network, broadcast last November, US President falsely claimed that human-induced climate change was a hoax. London had no-go areas for police. He said parts of the capital had Sharia law. And Sadiq Khan literally said at the time, Trump, you're more than welcome to come to London and have a look around. And since then, he's not set foot in the capital. As somebody who steps through London all the time, I can tell you that there is no go-to areas like that. It's just nonsense. He also made other claims about law and order and immigration that critics say were left unchallenged or endorsed by the interviewer Bev Turner, the host of GB News US-based Nicely show. By the way, crime is actually quite low in London. It's actually doing obviously there's always room for improvement, but it's quite low there. However, Ofcom has said it has decided not to investigate the 32 complaints that claim the interview was either misleading or partial in its presentation. Only 32 complaints. So you need a lot more to convince Ofcom, unfortunately. There, you needed like 200 or so. As much as I much as I would have wanted Ofcom to do that, 32 complaints is not going to be enough to push them in the right direction. There, guys, I've got to say. Spokesperson conceded that Trump's views were not challenging during the interview itself, but said alternative perspectives were set out in a surrounding panel discussion which challenged his opinions. Chris Banvilla, Ofcom's founding director of Standards, who drafted its code and investigating procedures, said he was astounded by Ofcom's decision. Quote, if there was a case of merited investigation for the broadcaster of potentially misleading material and a failure to meet due impartiality requirements, this was it, he said. But again, we know, as I've said, reform are treated indifferently, guys. Thank you, Jim, for the £2 super chat. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. If anyone's wondering, I've got a locket in my mouth, which is why if I'm making a lot of noise. Thank you in the mouth there. Viper Scott, thank you so much for the £2 super chat there. Confetti time. Yeah, sorry, I don't have any confetti like Graham Hughes does, but thank you guys. We've reached today's super chat goal. Thank you guys for all your support. Appreciate that. Donald Trump was allowed to make a number of unfounded allegations without any challenges whatsoever, with potential to mislead viewers, undermine the most basic standards of broadcast journalism and regulatory requirements. Well, there's no... GB News is not a news channel, it's a propaganda right-wing outlet, let's be clear. This was a test for how Ofcom regulates broadcasters on due partiality. It's failed the test. The decision raised serious questions about whether Ofcom is willing to reinforce its own standards set out in its legislation. It now appears that Ofcom has abandoned any precedents that meaningful regulation of broadcast content is still being maintained. There was never any being maintained even before this, to be fair, guys. There was never any before this, to be fair. The interview with President Trump was filled with falsehoods, such as claiming that climate change is a host. Now, China does not have any wind farms, it says. China does have wind farms, by the way. This feeble decision with no explanation offered rather suggests that Ofcom is afraid of standing up to Trump for fears of agonising him further. Yep, that's true. Ofcom says, we carefully consider complaints about the current affairs programme, which featured an interview with US President Donald Trump interspersed with a studio panel discussion and our guest reviews. Preserving due impartiality is the cornerstone of Ofcom's broadcasting rules, and yet you did fuck all about it. And we carry out detailed assessment of the entire programme as broadcast. While we acknowledge that President Trump's views are not challenged during the interview itself, the surrounding panel discussion and other guest interviews offer a range of alternative perspectives which strongly challenge his position. Given this, we will not be pursuing this complaint about this programme further. GB News was contacted for comment, did not wish to do so. So basically, what their argument here is basically, even though Trump was not challenged, but you had other perspectives on there. Yeah, but he wasn't directly challenged on these views. You know, it's not like the US where it's not supposed to have a free ride, a free reign. My voice is starting to crack up, guys, so that's why I'm struggling. Struggling to the end here. After 18 videos today, the second live stream, I'm starting to crack up. Sorry, guys. Were they still shining the Trump crackles, says Jal? No. They're all terrified of him, aren't they? Stephen Banker, thank you so much. You have been a member of this channel for 24 months. Wow. Thank you so much, my friend, for your support. Very much appreciated. 24 months, guys. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for being a member for so long. Really, really appreciate it. That's very, very kind of you. Guys, before we head out, don't worry. We're not completely done yet. I do have one final video to see ourselves out. A good, funny video for us here. That just before we do that, guys, thank you, Stephen Banker, for sending 5 gifted memberships there. To Rachel M, Yuri, Dizzy Drizzle, Chump Failed, and Casper Norva there have all been gifted memberships there. Thank you so much, Stephen Baker, for the 5 gifted memberships. That's very kind of you. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate that. That's very nice. Very, very kind and generous of you there. Really, really appreciate it. Who watches GBEs and actually believes a word that they say? Comedy show, says Jim. Yeah, they are a comedy show. But I would say this, though. They do sometimes like to give a bit. It's like Nigel Farage sometimes with them, yeah. They'll give you some truth, but they'll give a lot of lies too. That's the way they try to. That's the way they convince people. They'll give them some truth, but they also feed in some lies as well. There, that's what they do. Thank you again for that, Stephen Banker. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this last video. Guys. I haven't played this one for you guys. It's from Matt Green. It's been a while since we've done a Matt Green funny video, guys. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was one from last week, but I hope you guys enjoy it here of who is in the Epstein Files.
As yet more files are released in the Epstein case, more famous names are coming under scrutiny. Our Royals, Rich People and Wrong 'Uns correspondent, Jonathan Goodenough, has more. Yes, that's right. Celebrities, politicians and business leaders have been bracing themselves for the release of these files, desperately hoping that they don't appear in them, in very much the opposite way that they wait for the Sunday Times rich list. And presumably there's quite a lot of overlap. As Venn diagrams go, I would guess it's not far off a circle. So who has been mentioned? Well, there are the usual suspects such as President Bill Clinton, President Donald Trump and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, but it should be said that they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. Sorry? Then there's Sarah Ferguson, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Noam Chomsky, although it should be added that they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. Okay, but then there's Larry Summers, Howard Lutnick, Bill Gates, Steve Bannon, although it should be added that none of them... Why do you keep saying that? What? They haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. Because they haven't been. By who? Anyone. Have you been on the internet? There are accusations all over the place. Well, no one official. Right, so what you mean is they haven't been charged with any crimes. Yes. Yet. Yes. Yet. And they all deny any wrongdoing. Is that just a legal disclaimer? Of course, I don't want to get sued, or worse. Are you accusing them of having people assassinated? God, no, I'd never do that. None of those people have ever been accused of doing that. And if they had, do you really think I'd mention it? So if none of these people have been accused of wrongdoing, why are we interested? Because there was clearly a lot of wrongdoing going on. Right, but no one can say who by. Well, by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for sure. And anyone else? Definitely. Anyone else you can name? Definitely not. Oh, actually, Peter Mandelson. Mandelson? Yes, for approximately the 100th time, Peter Mandelson has been caught up in a scandal involving rich people and money. Can you recap for our viewers the previous scandals? We simply don't have time. In fact, at this point, it might be easier for me to explain the times he wasn't involved in a scandal. And what will happen this time? Well, Keir Starmer's called for him to be stripped of his peerage, partly because there's a photo of him having been stripped of his trousers. Sounds a bit embarrassing. And yet it suggests he might have a future on OnlyFans. Only Lords? So what happens now with the rest of the files? Well, we'll spend the next few weeks trawling through them, finding any incriminating photographs or documents that prove that some terrible things were done by some terrible people. And will anything happen to those people? Some of them will have to resign, and they might even lose a peerage. Anything else? Probably not. Thank you, Jonathan. Next up, as Donald Trump hate tweets through the Grammys, we ask, what is it about seeing young, talented, beautiful and famous people that makes him so angry? And should TV companies broadcast a new awards ceremony every night just to keep him busy?
Oh, Matt, you are. I miss. He used to. He doesn't do as many videos as he used to, guys. But when he does, my God, they are brilliant. Oh, what a wonderful video from Matt Green. Guys, do subscribe to Matt Green's comedy. And do check out whenever he does his comedy tours, because you never know, he might be coming around near where you are as well. So you want to give it... so if he does happen to be doing a comedy show near you, go and give him some love and support, because he really is absolutely a wonderful top guy. Obviously, Max Robesby got to interview him a while ago as well there. So, guys, just a quick reminder before I go. I'll be live again tomorrow at 11 o'clock, but there'll be no afternoon or evening live stream that I'm planning to do. So do join me for that Good Morning Show. I am looking to record, possibly, depending on how my voice does tomorrow, some videos, bringing back some normal videos to the channel. So it looks like that's something I might be looking to try and do tomorrow, record for you guys. We'll see how that goes. Wednesday, I have 2 live streams, the Good Morning Show as well as Prime Minister's Questions. That's all one live stream, and then we'll have the watch along live stream at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, and then Good Morning Show on Thursday morning at 11, and then Thursday evening at 8 p.m. myself and One Angry Pagan with the Eco Flake Show. Do join us for that. And then finally on Friday we'll have another Good Morning Show. I just want to remind people as well, just before we go, there'll be no live streams planned next week. That means Viewpoint will not be, there won't be a Monday evening live stream next week. It won't be till the following week that I'll have another live stream, guys. So I will be reminding you guys closer to the end of this week here. But yeah, thank you guys all for coming along again. Enjoy the rest of your week, whatever you guys have got planned. But just before you head out, if you can for me, please, hit that like button, share this across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Again, if you haven't already, do get a chance to check out Rumble and Patreon. There's free content on those platforms. There's some additional content if you guys are interested on there as well. Links for the Discord as well. It's free to join our Discord community as well. Link for that is in the description. And finally, again, if you want to financially support me in the work that I do, you can consider joining the YouTube membership for as little as 99p. So thank you again, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.